So busy, my dates,
I don't remember what day.
There wasn't a day.
I thought John could maybe bring his car. Shows like stuff. John is the expert. Can't see John's response. That's cool.
we'll go ahead and call this council regular session to order. It is Wednesday, October 2nd. The time is 7 p.m. Please join me in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we'll go ahead and open it up for visitor comments. If you'd like to come up and make a comment, please keep it to 3 minutes or less and state your name for the record, please. Who would like to speak?
Oh, I was waiting for you to begin. You're waiting for me. Hi. Patrick Berkeley, St. Helens. I came here tonight to just elated with what I've seen happening the last few weeks down here with Spirit of Halloween Town. And I think that all of you in council are to be commended for following through with a process that was difficult, perhaps still continues to be difficult for a number of reasons, timing, process. But I came here to wanting to focus on the positive. Just coming down here and seeing the plaza looks good. I see signage that is well designed, clear. I see a good number of porta potties, couple of ends of the grounds here and behind the Masonic building. I hear wonderful things. Matter of fact, before I came down, before leaving school, I was talking with Carmen Dunn, who's a member of our school PTO, and just said when she heard that I was going to come down to speak, she said, make sure you mention my name too. That she has been talking with business owners, residents, citizens, all very positive about what Treadway has done within the time frame that they had. And those are the same things I have heard from numerous business people and all. So I just think it's early on. You got several weeks to go, but I believe that a world famous event, the Spirit of Halloween Town, is now showing the possibility of how it can become a world-class event. And just again, despite all the other things that you have dealt with, a lot of other issues I know that you are dealing with, again, to commend you for your perseverance in going through a process which was difficult to do, and for which you have received a lot of criticism. And again, I probably still, ongoing, but I, as a 32-year resident of St. Helens, who's been here since the beginning of Halloween Town and other, thank you for allowing this to happen.
Who'd like to speak next?
Excuse me.
Mercedes Massey, St. Helens resident. So thank you, council, for allowing me to speak today. Although I don't often address the council directly, recent events have compelled me to do so. I am a fifth-generation resident of St. Helens and part of the emerging generation that is deeply invested in our community. I've been following city council meetings for a long time, mostly online, to stay informed and engaged with what is happening locally. I must express my disappointment in the way the last city council meeting I attended in person was handled. During that meeting, the mayor, Rick Scholl, reacted to my comments with unprofessionalism and personal attacks, referring to me as a pit bull. My comment was about the apparent inaccuracy in the information providing regarding police support and staffing numbers, which to my understanding is 9 officers. It seemed that the meeting was turned into an open forum for questions, but only those that aligned with the mayor's agenda were addressed. My comment about the perceived lack of support for the police stems from repeated statements made during meetings that seem inconsistent with actions taken. For instance, it appears, Rick, you did not tour the police station to assess the poor working conditions or a ride along with the budget committee to understand their needs. Was this due to a lack of care, or was it due to a lack of qualifications to participate? I do believe the city just received an $8,000 fine from OSHA for the police station. Is anyone going to mention that? Additionally, the lack of accurate information about the numbers of officers are concerning. Actions speak louder than words, and the disconnect between statements and actions suggests a lack of genuine support for our police force. The core issue is that council frequently encourages public participation and feedback, yet the reaction from you, the mayor, characterized by emotional responses and personal attacks, creates an atmosphere that is discouraging and unprofessional. This behavior is greatly concerning by discouraging younger generations like myself who are trying to engage and understand the problems the city is facing. You constantly disparage social media, which you fail to understand is a core component of how my generation in society communicates. Just because you don't agree with something does not make it inaccurate and does not make it a conspiracy. Your comments as an elected leader are unacceptable and disrespectful. I believe a public apology from the mayor is warranted to address the unprofessional conduct of name calling and to better foster a more respectful environment for future discussions. Thank you, council.
Who's next?
Jenny Gilbert, St. Helens citizen. As of yesterday, we lost our 24-hour police coverage in our city. Exactly 1 year since you first listened to the Police Association and agreed to help. You made promises that are not kept. You were warned and given the tools to fix it, and yet did nothing. Curious how our first night of no city coverage went? I know of one officer who worked their shift, went home at 3 a.m. to bed, 45 minutes later was called back out. The officer had to wait on another officer before they could go help the caller with the emergency. Where it used to be the police could reach at most anywhere in the city in 5 minutes or less, now citizens may be waiting for 30 minutes or more for help to arrive. I am your fellow friend, fellow budget committee member, but tonight I sit as a representative of survivors of domestic violence and abuse. We now have a nightly 4-hour window, which is being advertised loudly to abusers and criminals that we have no police on patrol. Posts on Facebook and my own neighborhood alerts have confirmed people have been out casing properties already. Crime will be increasing. Furthermore, not only do we not have overnight coverage, our police officers are now taking 20-hour shifts. This is unacceptable. Your citizens' lives at risk, but now your officers' lives are at risk as well. They already told you they are overworked and worn out. 20-hour on-call shifts, they no longer will be free to have a personal life. This room was packed multiple times over a period of months by law enforcement, their families, and citizens warning and pleading with you to correct the impending situation we now find ourselves in. You didn't listen to them. In fact, you ignored them. Meanwhile, you hosted and entertained what was and still is the circus of tourism for months. Seemed to be much more important to you, Rick and John. Mark my words, that tourism dog and pony show will go down as another huge failure for John Walsh and Mayor Scholl. The tourism story and loss of police presence will be your shameful legacy. Where is the public service fee we agreed to implement if the rush levy failed? The levy failed because it wasn't explained or advertised by the city enough. Instead, we, the city, are now promoting the jail levy when we aren't even able to fund our own police department. Obviously, there was never any real care to fund our police. The consequences to ignoring the needs of our city's safety just may turn out to be extremely costly. I can only imagine lawsuits that could become very real for the city if tragedy occurs. Action, not words. I'm requesting you all to make good on the recommendations and agreements the budget committee outlined for funding the police department. The public service fee must be implemented. There are no other options. If you don't, I would recommend you do away with the budget committee since you demonstrated their time consideration and majority option on funding our PD and officers. One final statement. John Walsh, you are incapable of your job and you need to resign. If you don't, the city needs to remove you. Mayor Scholl, you should not have sought re-election. The failures under your watch are now bigger than the wins. I was initially fairly neutral with the Police Association's vote of no confidence in the mayor and administrator, but I sit here tonight fully in agreement. I have no confidence in either of you two. You now have knowingly compromised the safety of your citizens, and most importantly to me, my children. You both need to go. New leadership is paramount at this city to save this, at this point to save the city. One last question before I conclude. Council, how will you be able to sleep at night knowing you all just put multiple hundreds of your citizens at risk, that you've jeopardized the safety of your own police force? Thank you.
Okay, who would like to speak next?
You can speak.
Tony Doggett, St. Helens. Yeah, there's a lot of politics going on right now, so. Okay, I'd just like to read the administration's home mission statement, which is the city administration department, which is the city staff, implements official policies of the mayor, wrong glasses, and the city council by coordinating city services to meet the needs of all live, work, and play in the city of St. Helens. The professional staff provide support, guidance, communications, and leadership to assure that the quality municipal services are provided to the members of our community. I know we have a problem with our police department, and I'm sure you guys are working on it the best you can. I doubt that anyone would want to put this city in any kind of danger at all, at any time. I don't know anybody here that would think that that is okay or would wish that to happen. All of you are good people and nobody deserves that kind of comment. So in the chair of discontent, which I'm going to get comfy in, I can honestly say, I don't know you, Mr. Walsh, very well. We passed pleasantries at the marina where I work on 1 or 2 occasions. I found you to be polite, unassuming, very courteous, and I suspect you treat most people that way. As a voter here in St. Helens, I follow local politics because I believe it's very important to vote at the local level, as this is where we feel the most impact by decisions made at any time. I've come before different councils here in the past with concerns, particularly pertaining to our waterfront, as it was where I and many others in this town recreate and where I work. The concerns we had were addressed. It took a long time, but that's government. I mean, that's administration. That's how you work. It takes time to fix things. And it took a long time, but the city worked on it and we had a good outcome. Thanks to the staff and the administration that work hard in the backgrounds. I've been watching the last few council meetings and I'm unclear why attacking a member of the city staff, Mr. Walsh, is a way to win votes. Mr. Walsh is not running for mayor, and I think it's very inappropriate in a public forum that goes into public record to trash someone's reputation and livelihood when they can't defend themselves. Mr. Walsh is a city manager and is therefore an employee, not fair game as a way to score political points. There have been inferences and innuendos have been made about Mr. Walsh, which I'm sure trickles down to the staff and affects their morale. Some people make it sound like the city is run by some mafioso with Mr. Walsh as the Don, but sorry, I don't see a line of dark window tinted Lamborghinis or Rolls Royces with white walls and curb feelers parked outside City Hall. John Walsh is not skipping and blowing bubbles with the city checkbook. Discretionary spending and any spending, I imagine, has to be approved by the mayor and the council. He can't do anything without that. The problem with disparaging Mr. Walsh or any other city employee in a public forum will pose a definite problem for the mayoral candidate that does so. Why? Because should you have the privilege of being mayor, you will have created a hostile work environment before you even set foot in the door. And as a voter, that doesn't seem a very productive way to start a 2-year term. I suspect should you win, you will get a completely different perspective if you are sitting in that chair. There is a lot of talk about leadership in this race. Well, I can tell you from most people's perspective, it's not using someone as a rung on your ladder or disparaging them to make themselves look good. Actually, the greatest tool in a leader's toolbox is humility, recognizing when you've made a mistake and taking responsibility for it. You'd be amazed at how people appreciate and respond to that. It's a lot less exhausting than the alternative. And they see you as a serious person that's wanting to fix a problem. I wish all of the candidates running for office all the best. It's not an easy task to take on. And please be kinder, as you may have to work with these people. And I honestly believe they're doing the best they can in the circumstances the city finds itself in.
Thank you. Oh. Thank you. Hey, who else would like to speak? Nobody?
Brady Brown. Just want to say, I think that Tony hit it out of the ballpark. I agree. The council and the mayor are fodder for attack. That's what you do. I agree that John Walsh is not. And I think that the council and the mayor should do more to sort of stop that. I know it's hard. It's under public comment, but I agree with her wholeheartedly and appreciate her comments immensely. Now I want to talk about the dirty dog deal that's on your tonight. I don't know who's responsible for that. I'm looking at you because you're the police commissioner. I don't even know that I disagree with this resolution, but what I disagree is the process. A police officer was terminated for lying. And that has created a dog that is valuable city property. And it's already been transferred. The deal's already done. This is like the dirty dirt deal. You don't get to approve of something after it's already been done. You bring it, you do it, you do the process and you vote on it before you make the decision. And it's those kinds of things that drive me nuts. And as you're the police commissioner, you had plenty of opportunity to bring it before instead of it. The dog's already gone. It's already at the county. I know that, but it should come here first. And then it happens, not the other way around. And those are the things that just drive me nuts. You also have on tonight, item about the boat. Spend up to $5,000 to get the boat license. That's ridiculous. First of all, we don't even know if you own the boat, frankly. I think that's to be determined. Secondly, you have no plans to use the boat. Thirdly, if the boat's going to be used and licensed, that's the job of your tourism director. You don't pay a separate contractor. We've already spent over $500,000 for this contractor. That's part of their job. If they're going to use the boat, then great, get it licensed, just like the other contractor did. Hiring a third party and wasting more city money is ridiculous. If they can't do the job, then find someone who can, and you don't file another contractor to do it. And they have no plans to do it. And again, I don't think you own it. I want to also talk about, as I mentioned, the police and the funding, and they're all going to blame the mayor for this. Well, the fact of the matter is, it just so happens that the person at the police department that called for the mayor's resignation and had a vote of no confidence is the guy who got fired for lying. Isn't that ironic? That's the crisis that was created in the police station that caused this shortage. So before you start acting like this is a mayor problem or a council problem, why don't you look at your own police force? Of course, then these same people talk about, oh, we got to respect people on social media, because the wife of that particular officer is part of a social media group that does nothing put spread lies and misinformation. And is part of a campaign that puts signs illegally throughout the city. So no, those are not really the people that I have any confidence in or have any credibility, because unlike this council, who hasn't really done a lot of attacking of them, Scappoose knows how to take out the translucency group and shut them down. They don't go back there now because they were pointed out in a very responsible way that says, yeah, you people are pretty much crazy. Halloween Town, contrary to Patrick Burkle, is not going well. It is a failure. It has been a failure. I actually bought a ticket, didn't just show up down here. And none of the events that I went to buy a ticket worked, not one. And so that's a huge problem. The events need to work, and if they don't work, you need to give a refund. It's just that simple. And if you don't have a vendor who can put on that event, they shouldn't be here. We spent a lot of money, more money than we've ever spent. And my prediction is that at the end of the month, we will have lost money. And then what's going to happen? Of course, I think that's been the plan. The plan has been to make tourism look not profitable, be not profitable, so you have an excuse to get rid of it. And I think that, and I don't know why people want to do that, but there are people that want to do that. And I think it's unfortunate because we took an event that used to bring in money and now it's become a complete failure.
Adam St. Pierre, St. Helens. So, first of all, I want to start off by saying I listened to the work session this afternoon, and you know, there was a statement made by John Walsh said maybe I should have just taken care of this and not said anything to anybody. Unfortunately, I think that's one of the big problems here is there is a lot of stuff that's just being taken care of without being said anything to anybody. You know, I've heard rumors of, you know, specific Halloween Town stuff being vandalized, not used, assets not being available to the new contractor, might be sitting in somebody's driveway, which has been confirmed by John Walsh. You know, things like that. But, you know, here we go. We're following what legal counsel has to say. Maybe it's time we get legal counsel that's not contract based, but maybe criminal based, because there is definitely something going on here. And I think there might be some ethics issues with John Walsh being in charge of this. But aside from that, I really want to be positive today. I came in here, I wasn't going to say anything, but here I am. So I talked to a lot of local residents, a lot of local employees, and multiple business owners / managers in the facility. I am not a Halloween Town person. I've never claimed to be, not my thing. I stay away. But what I did do is I had a conversation, and I hope you guys will all do the same. I talked to multiple owners, multiple managers, and a slew of employees. They were happier with Halloween Town this year than they have been. They said the communication with the new contractor was great. The signage was amazing, as Mr. Burkle said. The actually having parking for the employees put their mind at ease. And I said, okay, so the managers and owners I talked to, I said, how was the revenue this year? I'm genuinely concerned. They said there's no difference between the first weekend this year and the first weekend of the previous years that they saw. This is just the businesses I talked to, but that was the case. Hopefully, you know, I've heard nothing but pleasantries. I think council finally did something right by following through with the process, like Mr. Burkle said, and, you know, follow through with this. Is it gonna be rough? Is it different this year? Yes. You know, there's no secret to it. I hang out at Plymouth. They talk to a lot of people who come in there here for tourism. I said, what has been the general consensus of what you've heard? And they said it's the same as every other year. Some people are severely disappointed. Some people are extremely happy. But overall, they see no difference this year than they have any other previous year. So take it for what it's worth. Ask the questions yourself. You know, do we have a Facebook page that brings, concerns from people that we're willing to talk about that they don't want to put their name out? Yes. Does, you know, the mayor think it's a conspiracy page? That's his own philosophy, you know, but we'll speak out. We'll ask the questions when a lot of people won't. And after Scappoose, well, one of our main hits that they got us out of there with was, you know, replacing their police department with the sheriff's department. Ask Andrew how that worked out. He actually listened to our information. They still have a police department. Thank you.
Anybody else?
I'm gonna be happy and positive. I know times are tough, so I don't blame anyone for feeling the way they feel. I'm just excited, hopefully Halloween, Nick Helmick, City St. Helens, sorry. I just like the setup a little bit more this year, being in the main strip of the road, kind of has Saturday market vibes. I've talked to people who've been great and talked to tourists who are saying that they probably wouldn't buy another ticket, so take that how you will. I'm not saying it's bad. But I don't like seeing those when people are hoping it fails, because if you're hoping that Halloween Town fails, then you're really shooting yourself in the foot. You're screwing over your fellow St. Helens citizens. I'm not saying anyone's saying that, but there are people that are hoping for the demise of Treadway, and I feel like it's kind of ass backwards, pardon my French, to just hope that one of our main fun generators is gonna fail, and it just seems kind of counterintuitive. It slaps, doesn't it, buddy? But other than that, Project Arcadia seems awesome. I'm really pumped. Hopefully that tax base can kind of make up for a lot of the deficit that we've been seeing. Rehire some more police officers. I will probably be starting a neighborhood watch in my neighborhood. I encourage individuals to practice their Second Amendment right if they're feeling like they're not safe in their own home, and responsibly practice that right. So they can feel safe and train. I'm not saying to go out and to be a vigilante or anything like that, but to just make sure that you protect your castle. But yeah, that's all I have, and thank you all. And Ivan is almost walking now for the update, so thank you so much.
Thanks, Dick. Okay, we got anybody on Zoom?
He has responded to my requests.
On with for public comment for the increase in Dropbox rates. Would anybody like to comment on that? Anybody on Zoom like to comment from that? Okay, I'm not seeing any comments. I'm gonna go on with the resolution number 2028, a resolution establishing Dropbox rates and superseding resolution 1992.
Like to make a motion to adopt resolution number 2028, resolution establishing Dropbox rates and superseding resolution number 1992. Second that.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to approve resolution 2028. Council President Chilton.
Aye.
Councilor Sundin.
Aye.
Councilor Gunderson.
Aye.
Councilor Hubbard.
Aye.
I'll be an aye as well. Resolution number 2029, a resolution authorizing the city administrator John Walsh and city financial director Gloria Butch to establish an event credit card account.
Motion to adopt resolution number 2029.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to approve resolution 2029. Council President Chilton.
Aye.
Councilor Sundin.
Aye.
Councilor Gunderson.
Aye.
Councilor Hubbard.
Aye.
I'm an aye as well. Resolution number 2030, a resolution of the city of St. Helens City Council establishing the city employee compensation schedule for fiscal year 2024-2025, superseding all other resolutions.
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution number 2030.
Second.
Okay, a motion's been made and seconded to approve resolution 2030. Council President Chilton.
Aye.
Councilor Sundin.
Aye.
Councilor Gunderson.
Aye.
Councilor Hubbard. I'm an aye as well. Approve and authorize for signature for ratify agreement with Steve Todd for pro tem judicial services. 5, agreement with professional or Mariner Services LLC for consulting services to obtain all requirements to lawfully operate the city's vessel. 6, second amendment to contract with Moore Excavation Inc., extending their contract to the December 31st, 2024 for South First Street, St. Helens Street intersection improvements R-685. Number 7, first amendment to contract with Moore Excavation Inc., extending their contract time to December 31st, 2024 for South First Street Strand Road and Utility Extension Project P-525. 8, first amendment to contract with Moore Excavation Inc., extending their contract time to December 31st, 2024 for undergrounding the electrical services for the South 21st Street, Strand Street and Utilities Extension Project M-532. 9, agreement, amendment to agreement with Steve Lackerson for legal defense services. 10, amendment to agreement with, oh, I said Steve, Steve Lackerson. Amendment with an agreement. Number 10 is an agreement with Steve Sharfstein. Is that right?
That's
Okay. For legal defense services. That'll be it on that.
I move we approve and or authorize for signature items 4 and as read.
Discussion.
Yep.
Item 5, Mariner Services. Their scope of work, is obtain a bill of sale. Number 2, obtain warranties for the engine, register the vehicle. We don't have that in-house already.
We don't.
Who obtains the bill of sale and the registration?
He's chasing it down from the builder.
Okay, but we have a title of something, or
Yeah, we have a title.
we have a title? We need to hire them for this
And there's
complicated thing, isn't it?
it is more complicated than it sounds because of the documentation. It's a documented, inspected US Coast Guard vessel. So there's a process to go with that and work with the Coast Guard. Go through the boat again. It's been through it for one time and it passed.
You do it yearly,
It's an annual thing and then they did change the way they wanted to license it, so.
and is Treadway going to use the boat?
There's no immediate plans to use the boat, but if we don't do this, you have to go back to 0 if it let it lapse. So it's a full stability testing and a whole nother level of certification.
All right.
Minimum amount of work to keep it in, so it doesn't, a lot more work to keep it in good standing.
Okay. So approve and authorize for signature. There's been a motion made and seconded for and Council
Do we
President.
have a second on that?
Thought Mark seconded. it.
Yeah, he did. Yep. Council President Schultz.
Aye.
Councilor Sundin.
Aye.
Councilor Gunderson.
Aye.
Councilor Hubbard.
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. Okay, appointments to city boards and commissions. Appoint Jay Patronak to library board.
Make a motion to appoint Jay Atronak to library board.
Motion's been made and seconded to appoint Jay Patronak to the library board. Council President Chilton.
Aye.
Councilor Sundin.
Aye.
Councilor Gunderson.
Aye.
Councilor Hubbard. I'm an aye as well. Welcome to the library board, Jay. Consent agenda for acceptance. 12, library board minutes dated August 12th, 2024. Planning Commission minutes dated August 13th, 2024. Parks and Trails Commission minutes dated August 12th, 2024.
I make a motion to consent agenda for acceptance, line items 12, 13, and 14 is read.
Okay, a motion's been made and seconded to approve consent agenda 12, 13, 14. Council President Chilton.
Aye.
Councilor Sundin. Councilor Gunderson.
Aye.
Councilor Hubbard. I'm an aye as well. Consent agenda for approval. 15 city council minutes dated June 19th, July 16th, and August 27th, 2024. 16 OLCC licenses. 17 declare surplus property, please K9 Jacks. 18 change newspaper, change newspaper of record for Columbia County Chronicle and Chief and to the Columbia County Spotlight. And 19 accounts payable bill list.
I move we approve consent agenda items 15 through 19 as read.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to approve consent agenda for approval 15 through 19. Council President Chilton.
Aye.
Councilor Sundin.
Aye.
Councilor Gunderson.
Aye.
Councilor Hubbard. I'm an aye as well. Okay, work session items. Did we have any from earlier? We have one, I think, would be the $200 the Toy and Joy that we had discussed earlier. We would bring them always to the evening session to make a vote on two $100 donations to Toy and Joy was what we came up with. Would you like to make a motion on that? Anybody?
I'll make a motion to donate the $200 to Toy and Joy in the form of water bill vouchers.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to approve the two $100 water bill vouchers for Toy and Joy auction. Councilor Hilton.
Aye.
Councilor Cindy Anderson.
Aye.
Lambert.
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. You have anything else?
Authorization on the timber sale.
Oh, yeah. So earlier in our discussion, we had talked about our timber had went up in John's report as far as 10%. And we had this identified and we're ready to put it out, and it lost momentum. But the timber being up, we feel it's now time to move forward and have Brent put it out for sale.
In
a
the
proposal.
summary recommended it not going out for sale because the prices were way down and now they've recovered.
And so he's recommending, he got an email recommending to go ahead and do that. We'd like to make a motion that we, it's not a sale, it's actually put it up for pricing.
Invitation to bid.
Yeah. Invitation to bid on.
I'll make a motion to, for the invitation to bid.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to approve an invitation to bid for the timber cut. Council President Chilton.
Aye.
Council Sunday.
Aye.
Council Gunderson.
Aye.
Councilor Hubbard. I'm an aye as well. Okay, I think that's it on work session items. So let's go to council member report. Council President Chilton.
Okay, well, today I wanted to take some time to talk about, try to bring things back to the surface of things I've been working on since I've been on the council, since, you know, there's a chance I could be replaced soon. So I just want to make sure that everything I said I was going to work on, that I continue to work on. So one of those things that in light of the reports that were brought today and just the talking of the 24-hour police coverage and the continued staffing issues is I would like to try to get a couple more counselors tonight to make some action items that we can add to our next agenda for us to get back to work at trying to figure out how we can change the hiring process and the funding process for police in the event of an officer retiring, being able to hire a police officer to replace that current officer, so there is no lapse in coverage. That is one of the big issues that we have right now with the staffing crisis that we're in, is because of us not being able to plan for that retirement and be able to have it in the budget to hire basically a duplicate officer. So we've heard from our police force. They've had some ideas about how to do that. So I want to bring it back together for us to have that conversation again, have Gloria present and talk about how we can better restructure the funding and the hiring of our police officers so that we can accommodate retirements and injuries or, other things like that. And then again, another big issue, which is, I feel like it's hard to have a goal of how many officers we need for our city without an accurate staffing study. Again, last staffing study that was done was from 2011. I think we need to find the money to get a new staffing study done so that we have a goal of where we should be and what is the standard for the city based off the population, the crime, the things that are happening in the city now. So I'm calling to action a couple more counselors to say, yes, I would like to add that to the agenda.
I agree with you, and I would like to add that to the agenda.
I agree as well.
Yeah, well, and I agree too. And just so you guys know that, that's the way the city runs. Any decision made is a 3-5 in, vote, and I think it's a great idea. And, you being a former liaison and Brennan, you being a liaison, it's not a mayor decision. It's always been a we, and we've always had a budget we follow with a budget committee. And we've always followed it. And when I checked actually 3 weeks ago, I was under the impression that we still had 4 potential hires that we could hire when I talked to Lieutenant Hogue. It may have been 3 weeks ago. So I would also wonder why those positions and why we're having a difficult time getting those positions filled. I would like to really sit down in depth and really grind into this and see exactly what is going on with the demographics in our whole department as well. Which was gonna require the chief coming and sitting down with us and talking about these issues. Because we did have John Agers just retire. We have another one coming up in a month from now. So I do think it's very important. Not interrupting your reports, but I also wanted, just because it's on my mind, the dog was on our agenda before it even went away. We do not have a handler that can hold him, so we ratified it to the county. That's why it was done before. It was not a dirty dirt deal or anything like that, so. I apologize for interrupting. You have anything else?
Can we just make sure that that gets on the next agenda, John and Kathy, please? Thank you. That's it.
Councilor Sunday.
All right, so yeah, I was gonna mention Jack's too, just, it comes down to the fact that we don't have a canine handler at the time. We were gonna have to pay thousands of dollars to put it in a kennel. This was supposed to be done before Sergeant Agers retired, and because of sickness, that didn't happen, so Chief Greenway arranged with the county to house the dog temporarily, even though it was not yet official, and there were outside agencies that were interested in Jack's, and I think it was the best case scenario that the county was interested that he can stay here in the community and continue to be used by our police department when needed. I'm sure he's not listening, but I also want to congratulate Sergeant Agers on 25 years of service to the community. He's one of the rare ones that grew up here and spent his whole career here. And had the opportunity to go on a ride along with him last week for a couple hours. And again, just a great guy. Wish him well in the future. But again, was just impressed with the professionalism that night. Sergeant Treat and Officer Sprinzel and Marshall were on duty. Were there when all of them responded to a couple situations, and just very professional, and appreciate them and their service. Our next Parks Commission meeting is coming up October 14th. There was a cleanup at Dalton Lake last Saturday for 3 hours, and then our next park cleanup will be coming up on November 2nd, and that's going to be at Nob Hill. So we hear a lot of times about the bad things going on, but there's lots of good things going on too. I enjoyed our meeting with the Planning Commission, was in the library last week and overheard one of Jenna's story times. That seemed to be a big hit. Very lively and lots of fun. City staff is doing a great job. I just want to thank them for all of their hard work. I don't want to name all the different individuals in different departments because I'd forget people. But thank you all for your hard work and your dedication and your expertise in what you do. I did want to talk about Halloween Town a little bit because it's being mentioned a lot, and it's been on my mind a lot. So I wanted to get a few things off my mind. So I wanted to read some reviews about the Spirit of Halloween Town celebration. We paid $40 for 2 adults to go through the Alien Museum of Oddities. It was a room of cheesy Halloween decor, very disappointing for the price. Absolutely under no circumstances, do not buy tickets. Ticketed events were definitely not worth the premium price. Really unsure of what we paid $200 for. This place really scammed us. Very disappointing. We paid online $30 each, not sure what we even paid for. The decorations, spooky setups or whatever looked very cheap, not creative at all. The map was confusing, no volunteers helping or guiding, so we really wasted money and time coming here. Cute little town and a few fun things to do, not worth paying for tickets in our opinion. The Halloween experience was especially disappointing. One lap through a tent with what can best be described as Halloween decorations pulled out from someone's basement. It was nothing like I expected, not at all like the movie. The haunted house was a big disappointment. We drove 10 hours to see the magic. There was none. So keep in mind, these were reviews from last year. There are a lot of good reviews too. And the point I want to make is that our events have never been perfect. There's always been people that are pleased. There's always people that are not. This year was a transition year. It was bound to be different, and there's sure to be some hiccups. That being said, I was there on Saturday. I thought attendance was good. The parking and shuttle service was organized. The vendors I spoke to were having a good experience. Business owners that I've talked to were pleased with the communication, and our public works said that this was the easiest setup that they have experienced since the beginning. And I think the plaza looks great. So far, I have been pleased with the crew from Treadway. They've been professional. And if this is what they can do in a matter of weeks, I can't wait to see what they come up with for future events. And I wanted to end with a story, and this might be a little cheesy. Recently, I sold a bright green Mustang that has been in my family for 25 years. It was my mom's first ever brand new car, and later I ended up buying it. I drove the car back and forth to college, road trips all over the country, taught my wife how to drive in that car. That was scary. Brought both of my kids home from the hospital. That was scary too. By the time came when it was time for someone else to own the car, and I was a little sad to see it being towed down the road. I don't own the car anymore, but I hope that whoever does is going to take care of it and that it continue being used for many more years. I would hate to think of it being ran into the ground and destroyed. The spirit of Halloween Town and all of our events belong to us. They belong to you, the citizens of St. Helens. If you are a business owner or community member who is volunteering your time, energy, and talents to make sure that this event endures long into the future and continues to bring joy to people from all over the world, thank you. If you are one who is doing everything in your power to sabotage and diminish people's experience, shame on you. Let's focus on being community builders rather than community destroyers. Thank you.
I don't think that was cheesy. I think that was
Awesome.
2000 Mustang,
Yep,
like
I
really,
liked it.
really green.
really green. There's electric green.
So it's my turn. There's a couple things I kind of forgot. I had gone and talked to Treadway previous to them, the contract being signed, and they were looking for volunteers. So I believe it's on the spirit of Halloween Town. There's a volunteer, click on the volunteer button where you can volunteer. They will pay minimum wage, they will pay, and they will, so all these folks that they're wanting to volunteer and get money for their projects or, whatever, however they're willing to do that. So, just be aware that they want to do that. The Columbia Center, has some rental space available. I got some bullet points here I'd like to bring up. There's a total of 903 square feet available. The small bow front office is 216 square feet. The large room adjacent to the makerspace is 525 square feet, and the server room is 162 square feet. Soon to be vacated by CSET and CBDC. Library aspires to increase the size of the makerspace to accommodate a keen community interest in fiber arts, i.e. spinning, sewing, knitting. Library has been offered a free long arm quilter. Dimensions are 10 foot by 5 foot. I don't know what that is, but I'm sure it's impressive. There's no other room in the building for it. Moving our existing fiber art equipment, i.e. the sewing machine, serger, into that space gives us room to expand our ability to provide programs using other equipment, i.e. the 3D printers, hand tools, and computers such as the Raspberry Pis, PIS. The rent would be $1 per square foot negotiable. And I just wanted to put that out there for the council to consider, possibly putting that as an action item to look at potentially leasing that and then maybe subleasing it out. The other thing I'd like to bring up is that I went to Halloween Town, was that Friday or Saturday night? And I thought it was great. I had talked to all of the vendors that, I went through every single booth. I talked to the folks that were here. Everybody was having a great time. They seemed to enjoy it. Like Brandon said, can't please everybody. But for the most part, everybody was having a great time. If I hadn't had dinner, I'd have been fatter than I am now. So that's great. That's all I got.
Thank you, Mark. Councilor Hubbard.
Well, I think the Treadway contractor is doing a great job with what they've got to work with. I think we're all saying that proof's in the pudding, that they're professional. I've talked with some shop owners, and I think we got the email from 2Cs today, read that, very positive. People are happy. There's even the city employees I know, and they were told to bring things down for the event. Everything was color coded. Told me that they knew where it went. They were told where it goes. Everything worked very well. They were organized. They said they weren't getting yelled at anymore, so they were really happy about this whole process. So I think that's, we'll see. They got more to do, and then we can give them more. They're on professionals to do this, so that. On the library, seems like you got the guy working for you now. That's good. I haven't done much. I do really enjoy Suzanne being here at every meeting. Just her presence here and any questions we have, she's there. Which leads me into, like, we have issues with the police. And the way I look at it, the head of a department should be around to answer questions instead of us speculating back and forth. When I've got questions and we're talking about this, my thought always goes, where's the chief? Why don't we hear from him? He runs the show, I assume. And we've heard a couple speeches now and then, but I'd like to hear more involvement from him to the council and to the community. So anyway, that's all I have.
Thanks. Yeah, and again, it comes down to, we are a council of 5 and the city runs on a 3 to 5 vote. And so I want to thank Jessica for bringing that up, because it's always been the case that anybody can make a motion and it can be seconded and voted on. And anybody can also put an agenda item on the agenda. So it seems like lately, as important as people think the position of mayor is, and it is, because I'm representing the citizens, the liaison for the citizens, as far as the front person, the powers are limited to 1 vote. That's it. It's a 3 to 5 vote that run the city. And if I were to try to communicate with this council here, beyond this pulpit or this dais, that is a serial meeting, and it is forbidden. And we cannot do that. It is against Oregon ethics law. So for people to put up that they're gonna be able to be a leader that is going to get stuff done without communicating other than up here, and utilizing the staff and being able to get a lot of promises that I think are a little bit out there. It's just not gonna happen. It's just a fairy tale. Want to thank John Agers for his 25 years of service to our community. John has lived here his entire life. I have known him since I was probably 6 years old. He grew up right next to Haney's Groceries. I am wishing him well, and that I hope he just does what he wants and enjoys life. A waterfront update earlier was really good from Mohammed and Sharon. All the progress that's going on. I really pleased with the progress that's being made. Yeah, are the contractors making on the concrete that just got laid? The vault was just a little bit off when they started laying it. And that doesn't allow the ADA accessible ramp to be perpendicular. City said that's not acceptable, rip it out, replace it. We are getting there though. We are making a bunch of momentum. I Dig St. Helens campaign is happening. We're digging up St. Helens down here right now.
Sure.
How that works is you go out and you purchase, you get a card from any of the participating vendors. You go make a purchase of X amount of dollars or more. You get a punch. And then you get to go on, and once you get that filled out, you get to go in and you get a prize from a gift from participating in that. And they're like a cup and I think a tote, a bag, and all kinds of various things that you can get. So pretty cool little campaign put on by Main Street. I just want to clarify, I want to thank Tony too. John, you do not deserve any of the comments. That is a hostile work environment, and I apologize for not speaking up sooner than it took Tony showing up here. The more I thought about that when she was speaking and her words and her recognizing the politics that was involved in this and how it's not a right to use basically use you as a pawn. And I want to say on behalf of the citizens that you've done a good job and that you've been a calm voice that has been, the city is moving forward and progressing slowly through a bunch of public outreach. This waterfront is coming to fruition. And that goes clear back to well beyond me, but the brunt of it started in eight years ago. I came in on the second of the third meeting on the waterfront design. And which was originally a whole different concept that's in John's office. That was more like brick buildings and stuff like that. So I just wanna, yes, yeah, acknowledge that. It's not till sometimes you hear it from an outsider, because we're in the middle of all this ugliness. Politics is a brutal but necessary. It is, it's brutal but necessary. Government has to run. And that being said, I would just want to clarify that, again, I'm curious as I didn't know last night was our first 24-hour coverage. And at 45 minutes into one person being off, that's news to me. I heard that firsthand from the same people that keep showing up about this, and I question what is really going on there. As a mayor and Councilor Sundin, and it started happening when you were there, I would really question what the heck is going on here. And as far as open dialect, I let everybody have their 3 minutes and more. When I am doing my report and I never interrupt the counselor's report, it's not open dialect. This is actually my report. And that's where it happened. And I was interrupted and disrespected. I allow people to have their 3 minutes earlier in their afternoon, later in the evening, and this is my one chance to report. And I had so much to report on. I was so frustrated last time and was trying to do this campaign, the I Dig campaign, that it was just disrespectful. I don't owe anybody an apology. It's completely the opposite. I was born and raised here. I was learned respect from my elders. I am of an old school era that you give people their time when their time is due, especially in a meeting. And if I disagree with that person, anybody can feel free to put whatever they want on social media. That's fine. But you should never disrespect or interrupt somebody when it's their time to speak. We all have that privilege. It's our First Amendment right. And yeah, so I love this town. I love the progress we're making. I look forward to finding out what's going on with all of our policing, because it's a lot and it has been going on for quite some time. And I'm kind of really wanting to ask some really tough questions of how other people are able to know before you, and even you, Councilor Sundin. I want to know the answers behind that. So we're not going to be here on our next meeting. We're going to we may be doing a Tuesday meeting. We have the League of Oregon Cities, which is coming up next in 2 weeks. It's where we as elected officials go and we get educated on certain subjects. We meet with vendors from like utility billing that maybe want to save us money. They're trying to, they do private services for local and county services. And so we'll be there, representing our city and, we'll see you guys November 5th. November 6th will be our next meeting. So with that, we are adjourned.
Gum, gum.